Hi guys, welcome. It is Wednesday. It's Blam Partners in a Circle, and I'm also broadcasting to a couple of other different platforms today because the thing that I want to talk about today is going to be relevant to anybody that is a budding entrepreneur or anybody that is a seasoned entrepreneur but just perhaps needs that little reminder. And hence I've called this one Back to Basics, because I've been doing a little bit of development work on myself over the last few weeks. And so going back to basics is something that I've been reminded of. And so for you guys out there, if you're a Bland partner, if you're a budding entrepreneur, I just want to share with you some of that information just to make sure that you've got those foundations in place for your entrepreneurial journey. Because when we're in the mix of business, when we're working in our businesses and we're getting stuck into the day-to-day, sometimes we can forget some of the foundational work that we need to do to make sure we're moving forward in the right direction. So let me just start by sharing my screen and talking you through the story of the last couple of weeks for me and how this can hopefully help you. I just share the screen. Here we go, with your entrepreneurial journey too. So first off, Blam Partners, the Traffic and Conversion Summit. Blam and the team will be presenting. We'll have our own stand at that show in January 2024. So the first thing to say to everybody is, if you are a Blam partner, we do still have a couple of spare tickets. So if a Blam partner would like to come to Traffic and Conversion Summit, we have a couple of spare tickets for Blam partners only. Got to find your own way there and get your accommodation, but the tickets, which are pretty expensive, I've got to admit, we've got a couple of spares left. We've already got quite a few Blam partners attending, so I'm pleased to say we're really looking forward to seeing them and then just meeting as many people as possible in Las Vegas that are in the Blam universe, because Traffic and Conversion is pretty much the premier when it comes to conferences around the world for digital marketing. Now, we've been going for many years now, and I absolutely adore this conference because it just the rooms are just filled with like-minded people, because not only are they digital marketers, but they're also, the majority of which are entrepreneurs. And the thing that we always do is we always get VIP tickets so that you get to go into the VIP room, because that is where you get business done. And I can honestly say the VIP room at Traffic and Conversion Summit has changed my life. It's made a significant difference. The relationships, the businesses, the people that I've met in that VIP room have changed my destiny and the destiny of my career. So this comes to one of the first foundational back to basic things to remember about being in business, is that you have to surround yourself with like-minded people, with other entrepreneurs, and preferably you need to surround yourself with people who are further up the ladder than you are. I cannot stress how important this is to your mindset and to your motivation and to the elevation of your thinking as to where you need to be. Because if we don't make a serious effort, quite often we will surround ourselves with people who aren't even entrepreneurs at all. There's a really famous saying that says that your success is equal to the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, that is a scary thought for some of us if you think about some of the people that you're spending with. So this is where I'm talking about my journey today a little bit, where I came to remember that, guess what? To a year, just over a year ago, when I was at the Traffic Conversion Conference, I met some amazing people in those after parties, in the VIP room, mixing with the people that were all of a like mind. And there was a guy that I met at the Traffic and Conversion Conference last year, and I'm going to share the screen now. And the guy's name is Steve Sims. So, and the story goes, we were at an after party, because when you go to Traffic and Conversion, because Digital Marketer do the hosting and we're digital marketer partners, as you guys will know, We get invited to lots of other kind of VIP parties, and it's just really cool, because you're in the rooms where you just get to talk about business. And if you're passionate about business, like, it's like my favorite place in the world. And there I was in San Diego, at a wine bar, eating my nibbles, drinking my wine, and I hear this Cockney geezer, quite a loud guy, over the other side of the room, chatting away. And it's quite unusual to hear a Cockney in San Diego. So I wandered over, and it was this guy, looked like a biker, bit of an intimidating character, but really nice guy. And I got chatting with him. Now, this guy was stood next to another guy, really tall guy, who I recognized, um, as one of the speakers at Traffic and Conversion. And chatting away with Steve, was great fun. We had a bit of a laugh, had a couple of drinks, and then I ended up having a chat with this guy who was one of the speakers. And at Traffic and Conversion, there are lots of speakers. There's probably 30, 40 speakers at least, and he was somewhere down the roster as one of the speakers. And I got talking to him, and it turned out that he said, "I've got my speaking gig at Traffic and Conversion, which is a really high profile, it's kudos, because Traffic and Conversion, they vet every speaker. You're not allowed to pitch. You just have to deliver value. And that's why the show's so great. It's 3 days solid of value, of learning, of education, with nobody trying to sell you loads of stuff." And he said that Steve had been instrumental in getting him on the on the stage and becoming one of the speakers, which I thought was fantastic. And this really stuck in my mind. And so a few weeks ago, we've booked a stand, and we're going to be exhibiting at Traffic and Conversion. I go onto the Traffic and Conversion website, and what do I see? The keynote speakers. These are the top headline speakers. We're talking Richard Branson. We're talking Ryan Dice. This is the guy. This guy who last year I was talking to, who had been introduced by Steve Sims, is now one of the keynotes. In fact, he was second on the bill for a period of time. So Kasim is now a really high profile speaker. Now, according to him, when I was chatting with him last year, it's the level of influence that Steve was able to introduce to Kasim that meant that he then hires his profile, and he is now really high profile. His business is absolutely flying, and it's all down to that whole journey that he's gone on, where he's embracing the network and the people around him, and he's putting himself out there. So thinking on this, I'm thinking, it's been a while since I've been in a mastermind group, and I tend to invest quite heavily every year in my own personal development. A lot of cash has gone into mastermind groups, courses, personal development, etc., etc. And I was at the place where I was just about to think about investing in the next one. And I was on a mastermind group with Ryan Dice and Roland Fraser, two other keynote speakers that will be. Where is he? Yeah, so Roland Dice and Roland Fraser, these two guys was the mastermind group that I was in last. But I was thinking, I haven't been in one for a while. So I reached out to this guy, and sure enough, he's got a mastermind group. So long story short, I joined the mastermind group. Now, for those of you that don't know what a mastermind group is, it is where a group of entrepreneurs come together and they work together with each other to further their career, to bounce off ideas, to network with people of a similar mind. And I cannot tell you how powerful it is. I've been doing this now for well over, coming up to 15 years. And it is something that really elevates my mind. But when I came out of the last mastermind group, I just didn't get round to joining another one. And this is why this session is called Back to Basics, because I realized last night when I jumped on the mastermind group with this guy and his team, it's called the Sims Distillery, that it's something that should be a no negotiation. You should be in a mastermind group, no negotiation. And of course, with the Bland Partners, we've got the opportunity here. You're kind of in a mastermind already by joining, by using this Facebook group, and with the academy as well. You've got a group of people that are all like-minded that are together. But when it's honed into a meeting that is paid for and that you've got an obligation to turn up to, because this meeting's once a week, people don't value what they don't pay for, don't forget, then you end up with something that's very, very powerful. And it should have been the default for me. And I realized last night I'd forgotten how important it is. And mastermind groups, by the way, were first defined by Napoleon Hill in the book Think and Grow Rich. Now, this comes back to, where is it? Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, so if we pick on that one. If you have not got this book in your library, if you have not read it, then it's one of those books where you just can't call yourself an entrepreneur unless you have. This book is the Bible. And every mastermind group pretty much loosely is based on the philosophy that is in this book to do with mastermind groups. It is a fascinating book. I could do a Facebook Live on this book entirely, and I have done in the past. Please, please, if you haven't got this book in your library of books, get this book. You need to read it several times, because the value that this will give you to your entrepreneurial outlook and your entrepreneurial life cannot be stated. And straight away, last night, when I was joining my mastermind group, it's one of the first things they talk about. And again, I'd forgotten just how I'm in a mastermind group, and this is not a cheap mastermind group. It costs a lot of money to be in it. So that means that the people that I'm surrounding myself with are other people that are investing heavily in their own, in their own education and their own motivation. And they all look at this book as the gospel and as the Bible. We cannot ignore that, guys. Please, if you haven't already, and I'm hoping most of you have, get this book, read it, the Entrepreneur Bible. Make that number one, the one thing that you do from this session if you haven't done it before. And then next, what happens? So I'm in the mastermind group. Who is the speaker? And by the way, this is Napoleon Hill. I just opened this now. Napoleon Hill couldn't sum it up more. Patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. There's nothing in here that's rocket science, guys. It all is all pretty easy to understand. But this guy did a study of thousands of entrepreneurs and came up with a formula for their success. And Think and Grow Rich is the theory behind it. There's nothing woo-woo about it. It's scientific. This guy was very scientific in his approach. But that kind of sums it up. So Napoleon Hill, a legend. So this was the guy, Cameron Herold, who was the guy that was the sort of interviewee on the session last night. Now, this is where I had slightly, I had a shiver go down my spine. The tingles came when I realized, and this was completely random, this is the guy that co-authored the other book that I'm always banging on about to you guys, and that is The Miracle Morning for Entrepreneurs, co-authored by Cameron Herold. Little did I know that last night I'd get the opportunity to meet him and talk to him and find out about his ethos and his business. I have to say, guys, I was so motivated. I was so inspired by it, because this guy seems to be 100% on my wavelength. He's another guy that is a serial entrepreneur, built multi-$100 million plus businesses. And yet his ethos is all based around a lot of the Napoleon Hill, all core values, which I'm a huge advocate for, as a lot of you guys will know, as well as visions. And he's actually got a business called Vivid Vision. And Vivid Vision, and this is his business, is all about creating a vision. In fact, here it is, for 3 years' time. And in 3 years' time, using this process, he helps you map out exactly what your business would look like. And it's your business on December the 31st, 3 years into the future. And this download, which you can get from the Vivid Vision website, gives you a mind map, a template of exactly what to do. So the company, the core values, the culture, all in 3 years' time. And his management style is that you map out where you want to be in 3 years' time, and then you work backwards to get there. Now, this works fantastically in my mindset because I love the idea of the vision, but then actually mapping it out in absolute detail in all these different areas of the business. For me, I find really inspiring, really motivating because I love the idea of figuring out where we're going to be in 3 years' time in such detail. And he's had loads and loads of successes with this. And I would urge you guys to have a go at this as well. He's got loads of examples. This document, which is just a free download off his website, these are all the examples of one that he's done before. Is the perfect way of consolidating, because I always say, you know, you want your vision board, you want your goals. This can be the document that's like the Bible of where you're going to get to in 3 years' time, exactly what your business looks like. And his story is fascinating. And if you jump onto his website, he'll tell you in a lot more detail. But he basically got the technique from Olympic trainers that were training athletes to visualize how they were going to train and how they were going to win and where they were going to get to. And they showed that it improved their performance. So he applied that principle to business. And here we have the vivid vision technique. So I only found out about this last night. So I'm now in the process of getting this mapped out and done. And I can just tell instinctively this is going to be a fantastic tool because it's kind of like going that extra bit further on top of the vision boards, which, you know, I've got at the side of my desk here. It takes it that little bit further because it's actually defining in a very business-like fashion exactly what the business is going to be like. And he actually said that you can do one for yourself as well. So this is very much about you can do one for the business and then you can do one for yourself. And I knew how aligned we were when I asked him about core values and what his thoughts were. And the way that we've done our core values at Blam, the way that we train Blam partners do core values are really well in alignment. He said some of the phrases that I use, in fact, about not just having one word or something that's a bit wishy-washy or should be a given, like honesty or trustworthy or whatever as a core value. I mean, that should be a given. He likes to use sentences. So the core values that were behind me when I was in the office were completely in alignment with the way that he does core values. So get those core values done and get your vision done, because this vivid vision, I think, is going to be a really powerful thing. And then he's got some other stuff that I really liked. He's got bucket lists as well. So he does a full bucket list and he actually puts it out there, everything that he wants to achieve and the ones that he does want to achieve. So high accountability to all the things that he wants to do, putting it out there. Just like when I do at the beginning of the year, I put my goals out there and I encourage you guys to do it too. Because if you set your target and you put your goals out there and you are accountable to them, then you've got much more chance of achieving them. And that's a really, really important, powerful thing. So just as a way of kind of wrapping this one up, guys, I just want to make sure that you as entrepreneurs have got these foundations in place, because sometimes, just like me, you can forget some of the most important things that you need in your world in order to find success. Number one is surround yourself with people that are where you want to be. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and you have to make a real effort to be in that group. So if you can get onto a mastermind group, make sure you pay for it and make sure you're investing in yourself. Because I remember I've run mastermind groups in the past with Blam partners, and I used to get people that wouldn't turn up very often. They were a bit unreliable because they weren't paying specifically for the mastermind group, and people don't value what they don't pay for. And it's the same for all of us. So you've got to make that investment because it pushes you, it makes you accountable to turning up. Remember to read the book Think and Grow Rich. Have it in your library. It is the gospel. It's the Bible. It is the thing that all entrepreneurs and all super successful entrepreneurs refer to. And remember the morning miracle for entrepreneurs. That morning routine is the thing that I talk about all the time. It's the thing that I've seen most responsible for making positive change in people's lives. Having a structure to the morning that is filled with the lifesavers, the things that are going to help us achieve the successes that set us up. I can just imagine using that in combination with the vivid vision, all along the lines of the Napoleon Hill strategy, along with the support of your mastermind group. It's a powerful recipe for success, guys. Incidentally, for Blam partners, if, or in fact, anybody that's watching this, if you are interested in joining a mastermind group with me, then just send me a DM, just send me a message. I will gauge the enthusiasm for it, because I know how super powerful they can be, and I know how motivating and life-changing surrounding yourself with the right like-minded people can be. So just send me a DM if it's something you're interested in. If I've got enough interest in setting one up, then I will happily do it, because I am a huge advocate for them. That's it from me today. Don't forget, traffic and conversion in January 2024. If you're a Blam partner and you want to attend, let me know ASAP, because we've only got a couple of tickets left. We've already got some partners coming, so let me know. And then just one final thing, guys. This Friday is Black Friday. Make sure you're doing a deal. Make sure you're doing an offer. People love a deal. People love to leverage the power of a discount or a deal or an offer. Use it to your advantage, guys, and get those sales in. Thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. See you on the next one. Take care, guys.